This Dallas Cowboys team preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign by UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
That is a disgusting act.
What's up, everybody? You're watching SGPN. Fuck the Cowboys. Let's go, baby.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Shout out to Brandon Jacobs for giving us that beautiful fuck the Cowboys.
Fuck the Cowboys.
The craziest thing about that is in the haste to get him to say fuck the Cowboys, he doesn't actually say his own name. That's the beauty of it. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah, great point, Ryan. He doesn't even say, "Hey, this is Brandon Jacobs." We were just so excited that he was saying "fuck the Cowboys."
He was willing to. He's like, "Yeah, I'll say fuck the Cowboys."
Ryan,
they don't hate each other anymore. Like,
hey,
that.
would you? Would it be cool if you said "fuck the Cowboys"? And he goes, "It would be a pleasure."
That was an all-time.
Remember, and it was great having him on. We should get him back on, right? Because it was a lot of fun, and he kept hyping up his son who was in high school at the time, and then recently just went viral for. I mean, he
multiple
is a
times.
Huge ass dude. His son, who's supposed to be like this stud O lineman prospect,
Clemson recruit, 5-star tackle prospect, who he makes Brandon Jacobs look like a child.
The videos of the Brandon Jacobs' son working out with him, it's just like, oh my god, Brandon Jacobs must be tiny compared to this
6'4", 235, 240.
massive man child there. All right, we got one of the favorite episodes. If you like shitty bullshit teams like the Dallas Cowboys, it is fun to just. Ryan, this is like the limbo episode. How low can we go?
I disagree. I'm taking it very seriously this year.
Oh, well, I mean, we've been fading the Cowboys. I think ever since 2011, it's been a nice run. It's actually been a couple outlier years, but for the most part, they've been pretty good to their under.
It's like first half unders.
Yeah. It's a system play.
You just got to do it.
You take the cow, and they're historically, the public loves them.
Yeah.
Lather them up. Although I feel like this year is probably the least amount of Cowboys hype we've had in a while.
Yeah, and I would say that's why this year I'm shifting gears, and we're gonna take this with a truly objective handicapping approach. I know some of the really the journalistic objective sports betting podcasts have thrown in the towel this season and called it an early retirement. So I figured, why not? We'll take this year. I'll take the Cowboys seriously in honor of those fallen shows.
There are.
So I'm going to dedicate my Cowboys prediction to all of the fallen sports betting podcasts that couldn't make it through another season.
Yeah, maybe we need to do, Ryan, a 21 gun salute for all the podcasts and media companies that have given up.
No, it's a shredding salute. We have to do just like they did the Hulk. They did the 10 bell salute. We need to do a proper number of shreds. Which, by the way, there is nothing funnier than releasing a podcast to tell everyone that you are quitting your podcast.
No longer podcasting. We got a couple special guests. We got the chat is fired up.
Yes.
We got AK Jacoby already saying, real question: how many weeks does Pickens make it before he rage quits the team like a diva? Of course, with the CD Lamb target share. That is the idea that George Pickens is not going to be combustible, especially with a first year head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, that's where the news starts. They finally got rid of Mike McCarthy, who, as much as he was funny or made fun of, easy to make fun of, to put together a pretty good regular season record. And then they bring in Brian Schottenheimer. Jerry Jones introduced him by saying Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And they really like kind of buried his announcement to the team. They were almost like embarrassed that they were hiring Brian Schottenheimer.
It's almost like a politician, right? Like Jerry, someone got Jerry upset about like, oh, maybe they don't think that I'm still in control.
Yes.
And so his way of saying, no, I'm in control.
Well,
I knew I was making this mid decision. Look at this. I didn't make an exciting decision. I made this decision.
It was great. I think it was last year where people go, there was like, he's on his call-in radio show and they go, there was like a personnel question or something. And are you upset at the coach or GM for doing this? And he's or the coach or whatever. He goes, no, all decisions go through me. So he even wanted credit for decisions that were going horribly wrong. Just to reiterate, hey, I'm in charge.
Sean, we got to get Jerry Jones on the program.
All right,
maybe in a fake way.
Add him to the list. Jerry Jones impersonator. Maybe there's one out there. All right, we got.
No, there can't be. Right?
We're gonna do our super fan check-in, and of course, Cowboys #1 super fan chat legend himself, Mr. Serial. What is happening? How are you feeling about your 2025 Dallas Cowboys?
The 2025 Dallas Cowboys. I feel great.
All right. Well,
I got to be honest. That doesn't sound not a ton of excitement.
Not a ton of enthusiasm, but let's take a quick look back on your 2024
still on the team, right?
Dallas Cowboys, and Dak coming off a year, Ryan, which I know he got injured, but in the 8 games, his QBR of 45.3, career low. Previous low was 2018, and that was 55.2.
But Sean, he plays good every other year, don't you know?
That he is on the alternate. Cowboys came in with a 10.5 win total last year. Make playoffs was -205. We were all over the juicy miss playoffs price at +164.
I enjoy how the green check mark next to 3 and 14 makes it look like we nailed the record.
Nailed it. They were 7-10 straight up, 7-10 ATS. We were both on the under, smashed it. We had 3 and 14, almost got there. They did win a couple games they probably shouldn't have. But Serial, what was any big takeaways from the 2024 season?
Can you really take anything away from that? You guys just kind of hit on it. But I mean, we could say that it was pretty much a bust of a year, right? There was a coach that we knew wasn't probably going to be coaching next season. Defense was one of the worst in the league. So when you can't put up anything on offense, you can't put anything up on defense. That's a coaching problem. That's not like.
So it sounds like he's in on Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, who was on
New
the coaching
locker room
staff.
layout.
Yep, Brian Schottenheimer. I can, because that's what he wants to do, right? All the things that we wanted to see as Cowboy fans, in terms of like have a purpose with run game, do a lot more bootlegs, because that's really what Dak is better at doing is bootlegs, running out the pocket. So like, if you're going to bring a coach that's going to focus on that, I'm all for it.
Developing. He's still developing, but Dak is. I mean, we watched him at Mississippi State. They were showing some highlights. Sports Center is traveling around the globe, going to every state. What a weird bit for a sports channel to do. But they showed Dak in college, where he's been developing for a long time, Sean.
Well, and you mentioned the running game, and I think that to me, as someone who's questioning, as a journalist, objectively looking at this Cowboys team, what the fuck are you guys doing at the running back position? You got Miles Sanders, you got Javonte Williams, and you got Jadon Blue. And the first thing that comes out about Jadon Blue is he's lazy and doesn't want to learn the playbook and all that other stuff.
That's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Now, maybe that was just a way to get him fired up, and maybe Jadon Blue hits the ground running. But the offensive line, you lose Zach Martin. Hall of Fame guard there. That's going to be a big deal. And then Tyler Guyton, your left tackle, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. His ACL, thankfully, I said some prayers.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, his ACL is okay.
In one piece.
Piece. But you got to be a little concerned about the offensive line. Serial, seriously, what are you guys doing at running back?
If I had to put who I think is starting right now, it'd probably be Miles Sanders.
That's exciting.
Splitting with Javonte, having Blue being that change of pace, like speedster with Turpin that also could play into that role too. So It's going to be probably most likely a committee. But I like Jaden Blue. You can't believe all the fake news you hear, just like Dak going to Cleveland Browns.
I mean, the Dak on Cleveland, that would have been. I mean, Ryan, we joked that the Giants were only a quarterback away. The Browns actually were a quarterback away, maybe from put together.
How dare are you discrediting my whole offseason narrative? How dare you try to throw it off to the side as if Cleveland is more of a quarterback away than the Giants?
Incorrect. Will Micah Parsons be on the roster for Week 1 opening night at Philadelphia? I support players, employees getting what they deserve. I think he should send a message to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys organization and sit out of that game. Are you in support of Micah sitting out the entire season to make sure he gets paid properly? Cyril, I assume as a fan you're rooting for that.
Of course, I'm rooting for him to get paid, but he can play on the field for that.
You know what he could do? He still has a year of eligibility in college. He could go back to play for his defensive coordinator and someone he's named as his favorite coach, Coach Pry, down at Virginia Tech for a season while he's working out his Cowboys contract.
Other reasons to question potential optimism would be Trevion Diggs, Demari Vion Overshown. It took me a little bit there. Well, I was reading their injuries, and that really tripped me up. Chondral tissue graft procedure for Trevion Diggs' knee.
Sounds like a
Overshown.
What happened to Osa Digazua?
Nailed it.
Want to try that one?
Sean's not even going to try to say that one.
No. Overshown also coming off an injury there. Are you worried about them coming back from the injuries?
I would say in terms of how prepared we are probably for this season, if injuries happen, I think we can somehow do better than the 7-10 record we had last year. So I feel like we got some depth that we can work with here. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be without Micah.
As an objective Cowboys handicapper this year, I am not feeling very optimistic.
Yeah.
Sarah, we have to hear what your favorite bet is on the Cowboys.
Yes. What's your favorite bet on the Cowboys, and what is their record for the 2025 season?
So my favorite bet, I got one that's to them score a touchdown every single game. So in all 17 games, just get one touchdown. It could be run. It could be pass, doesn't matter.
I love these.
That's even money. How do I not? How do I not do just
an opening night shutout where Cyril loses that bet?
Yeah. Good luck with that. Sean.
You're getting even money that the Cowboys score a touchdown in every game.
I haven't looked at those markets for a reason because they always look so good. Like how is this not going to happen?
The rushing one is particularly juicy because you're like, well, yeah, but then inevitably there's going to be one game where they don't. It's a 17-leg parlay that's paying even money. So I always, it's a little hesitant, but all right, you're optimistic about their ability to put up some points there.
You can also bet them to make the playoffs. Because if we do know one thing, if you want to get me straight to the schedule point of it, our division doesn't repeat as champions.
Fair.
So therefore, that tells me Eagles aren't going to win the division, and the Giants haven't done it since when, Kramer?
Well, it doesn't matter. We're looking forward, not backwards.
So we know there's two teams that's not going to be it. So then that means that's either us, or it's the Redskins, or the Commanders. Are they the Redskins?
It does seem like
the odds are different. The odds are priced differently for the Commanders and Redskins. So Commanders might make it. Redskins, we'll see.
Yeah.
So you like the Cowboys to win the division, even though they're a known sucky team. You like them to. I assume you have them over their 8.5 wins. It's going to be tough to win the division with 8 wins. I assume you're having them on the over. You like them to score a touchdown in every game. What is your final record for the 2025 Dallas Cowboys?
Let's say 10-7.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
that's interesting. So that
I think we're 3 wins better than last year.
So you have the Cowboys going 10-7 and winning the NFC.
What do you have the Eagles going? Just out of curiosity. Oh,
17.
Great!
No,
they're losing that first game. That first game, that Thursday night to open it up.
All right, I'm pretty nervous, but all right. So 10-7, win the division, touchdown in every game. And do you want to put in a Brian Schottenheimer Coach of the Year?
Ooh, no way he wins, right?
I don't even know what the odds would be on that one, but Let's do it. Even if they, I would take it. If they somehow win the division, you got to think he's.
I don't think he's winning it because I don't think they are winning the division. But if you think they're going to win the division, Schottenheimer,
he's in the mix.
I mean, Cowboys at 2-1 to win the division. This is even. I can't even put myself in a hypothetical.
To win the division?
Oh, you're right. Make the playoffs is 2-1. Division is plus 550. I was gonna say that's crazy low. So division's 2-1. Playoffs is 2-1. Division plus 550, and you have the Dallas Cowboys going 10-7. Small play there as well on your Brian Schottenheimer Coach of the Year. All right, Serial, we got to get to this Cowboys schedule. See where Kramer and I land. Appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, worst of luck this year. Worst of luck.
Hit up Serial in the Discord. Don't be intimidated by his username, Sir Long Dong.
Yeah.
In the Discord. he's in the Discord streets. Check him out. Say what's up. Appreciate it, Serial.
All right.
Let it ride. Thanks for hopping on.
Great promo for the pregame show also.
Oh yes. And of course, the phrase that pays.
I thought you were gonna forget.
No, which may somehow be connected to the Dallas Cowboys. And this episode's word is song. 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 It is part of a 32-word phrase, 1 word per episode. Put them together, submit them at the end of the 32 NFL team previews. One of you will get $1,000 circa NFL future available to anyone of legal gambling age. Kramer Hall of Fame game right around the corner. We're going to be breaking it down later tonight. And of course, getting down on the action over at mybookie.ag. They got you covered for preseason NFL, the regular season, in-game wagering, and player props, anything you want to bet on, even some weird, wacky stuff. MyBookie is great. They'll hang a line on anything. 100% match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply on the rollover bonus. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Use our promo code. Toss us a bone. Help yourself out. Give yourself another great out. Available in a lot of locations. If you're thinking like, oh, I gotta go through some shady back guy, try out MyBookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. The Rhythm is gonna bet you with props. Song courtesy of the great CJ Sullivan. And Rhythm, AI detected patterns. Listen, I like a good gut handicap, but I also not afraid to trust the data because Rhythm has a bunch of they do all the heavy lifting, and having data as part of your handicapping is something everyone should be doing. It's great. It's very easy, simple to use. If you want to just take their picks, their power trends, WNBA power trends hitting at 63%, or you can build your own model. I'm going to be building a model for the NFL. Going to be putting it to the test with against some of the other guys here at SGPN. See who can build the greatest model. But in the meantime, a little MLB play. Even though they're going up against the Phillies, Rhythm, one of their power trends is the White Sox plus 1.5 on the run line. White Sox plus 1.5, minus 140. They love that. Get started today over on Rhythm. 7-day free trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Joining us on the line from the MMA Gambling Podcast, Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Gumby, what's happening, man? Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You know, Ryan, we need to really update our hiring process here around SGPN. Somehow Gumby slipped through the cracks.
It's too likable.
As a Cowboys fan. And we always, at least me, I always forget. Occasionally it comes up that he's a Cowboys fan.
Every time
I like Gumby, so I like block out that piece of data in my mind.
We just randomly shit on the Cowboys when he before the VSiN segment starts.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah,
and then Gumby's like, yeah, you're right. My team, blah blah. And I'm like, oh my god, I forgot he's a Cowboys fan. I usually
don't like Cowboys.
Now, Gumby, explain to the audience, how did you end up a Cowboys fan?
So I jumped every bandwagon I could possibly jump in the 90s. So I was like, 6 years old, 7 years old when you start liking teams and knowing you don't have to be a fan of your dad's team. And the Cowboys were winning, the Braves were winning, the Bulls were winning. And I find myself here in the year of our Lord 2025, still a fan of all three of those teams and feeling an immense amount of pain. Blame it on my 6-year-old self, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is, it is just shows you how sports are cyclical. We just haven't gotten back to that starting point in the circle.
Well, I was on the opposite end where my entire childhood was ruined by these fucking Dallas Cowboys. Always, and the Eagles had a very good team in the early '90s. I'm rocking the Reggie White jersey. Randall Cunningham, historically good defense. The Cunningham gets injured. One of their best years. Seemed like they were primed to go on a run, and they always kept running into the Cowboys in the division, in the playoffs. Aikman,
late '80s into early, like the last half of the '80s and the first half of the '90s.
The NFC East was really good.
The Eagles were just the only team from the division that didn't bring anything home.
Didn't win the Super Bowl, which was very frustrating because they had the awesome defense. They had Buddy Ryan. Very fun team to watch growing up, but yeah, couldn't get over the hump. Finally did in 2017, ran it back a few years later, 2014. But alas, we are not here to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. We're here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Looking back on 2024, Gumby, as a fan, that feels so gross to say, but as a Cowboys guy, did you have any big takeaways from the season? I assume you were happy with moving on from Mike McCarthy, but when you end up back with Schottenheimer, were you happy about that transition? Where do you stand with the coaching change?
So for me, the biggest problem with the coaching change is not necessarily that they hired Schottenheimer. It's how they went about it, right? Is that you go from telling Mike McCarthy he can't interview with the Bears to watching maybe the best coaching hire be the one hired to the Bears. Like, just tempt him with McCarthy. Let him know that they can have McCarthy, stick him in his face. They can, dangle him in front of the Packers and scare the Packers with McCarthy for a little while. And then we'll take Ben Johnson, we'll take, Meanwhile, we block people from interviewing him only to shit can him anyway. Like, what are we doing there? And, all the exciting hires that they could have done, right? Like, they could have done something really exciting. They need stability. They might need a safe hire. Like, maybe Schottenheimer is the guy they should have picked, but it's the way they went about it that sucks. And that's perfect Jerry Jones, right? Like, Jerry Jones loves to do something that might possibly be right, but in the worst way possible, right? Like, just be awful at making the move, even if it happens to at the end of the day. Like, I felt the same way when they let Zeke go, right? Like, I wanted Zeke to stay. Ultimately, it was probably the right move to let him go. He was past his prime at that point, and they shouldn't have paid him. But the way they went about it was just ugly and terrible. And that's the thing about Jerry Jones that is going to keep letting us run over ourselves, is that he does the thing the wrong way all the time.
Well, you see it consistently in the NFL. The franchises that are still being run hands-on by older ownership, you see old business tactics, and old business doesn't work anymore because the players have voices. Social media exists. The media is sympathetic with the players. There's a million reasons why it doesn't work. And I remember that being said, when I was a young person working in corporate America, I remember someone gave me some advice. He's like, when you see some dumbass shit going on in a workplace, like a decision that doesn't make any sense, just sit down and remember, you have no idea what that guy's job is and what he's been told to do. And so in the case of Jerry Jones, it's the exciting hire makes sense if you want that, but Jerry doesn't want that. No. He wants someone that allows him to get enough fingers in the asshole that he can control him. And I think that's why we have a Schottenheimer, right? Like, even McCarthy, he was willing to roll over on his stomach and let Jerry play around a little bit.
I mean, it was always great knowing the Commanders Redskins football team had Daniel Snyder as the owner, because having a meddling bad owner is as a rival, it's great news, because there's just, it never works out. There's never a way to get around it, and the owner's never going to fire himself. And with the Cowboys, it's not only a bad owner, but now he's also the de facto GM. He's running on 37 straight years as the GM. And it's what really is shocking about the Cowboys is they've done a good job drafting. Now, a little bit cold here the past couple of years, but they've actually had some great finds in the draft, made the right decision drafting Micah Parsons, where they drafted Dak and what they've got out of him. But the way they handle the contracts and the way they get these draft picks to the second contract is just absurd. Like with Micah Parsons, It's the same thing with the Bengals. You're gonna pay Micah Parsons. Why didn't you pay him before the TJ Watt deal? You could have saved yourself a ton of money. It's like he thinks he's gonna play chicken with these players.
Again, old business tactics,
which might work in a different field, but because of like the rookie wage scale and everything, like these deals are pretty much, especially for a pass rusher, it's pretty much locked in. Like
consolidation of agencies.
I'm better than this guy. I will be getting more money than this guy. Now we can play this game, but eventually they cave, and they did it with the Dak deal. And CeeDee Lamb, the same thing. What do you think he ever figures it out? Gumby, as a Cowboys fan, I'm sure you're not rooting for Jerry Jones's untimely demise, but you wouldn't be. Maybe you wouldn't be upset as a fan to get someone else in there.
I'm just hoping he falls deep enough into senility that his son can take over for the most part.
There you go.
And like pretty much, you hit the nail on the head with like the draft picks seem to be right and the signings seem to be wrong. And that's because I think his son has enough hands in the draft, right? The draft's something fast, the draft's something quick. His son can convince him like, hey, no, we're not going to go with Johnny Football. We're going to go with Zach Martin because that's what he talked him into all those years ago. And like, he's been doing that for the last 5 to 7 years, I feel like. And like, the problem with free agency or the problem with re-signing guys or extending guys or whatever it might be is he might get his son's advice on that. And then he might go to his checkbook and look in there and say like, oh no, I forgot I'm still really cheap. At the end of the day, that's the problem is he's got time to think about that. Like, I think, all of the choices they've made in the draft, I think you can attribute to his son. I think his son is forcing his hand or whatever coach was in there was forcing his hand because look, he would be picking a new quarterback every other year. He would be picking the exciting running back every other year, which by the way, he had a chance to this year and didn't pick the running back. Like that's finally, like the one chance you had to pick the skill player and do something exciting. You didn't do it. So like, I think deep down, like his son's making a lot of the quick decisions, but when he's got time to think and he's got time to, basically close up his wallet and stick it away. Like, I think that's the biggest problem here is that this is still a guy who, Kramer hit the nail on the head. He thinks he can use old business practices to save a few bucks. And like, that doesn't work in 2025.
Well, and I also just think it's probably as simple as he is probably the guy that still has to sign off on the financial decisions. Rookies are on it. That money is already kind of budgeted. You don't have to really, again, to your quicker decision. But if he's like true, again, if you've ever worked at a business where the CEO insists on signing every fucking check over a certain amount of money, like you do end up running into this problem. Again, back to my corporate world where like there was a period when I worked at Hulu that I had to make sure that I like went to a guy's office on a Friday afternoon when he was signing stuff to get it signed, or I'd have to wait another week. And completely irrational behavior.
Yeah,
it slows down the entire business, but he didn't give a fuck. That's how he operated.
Well, and
that's Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones's son was Jerry really wanted Johnny Manziel, and they basically like took the keys away from him and drafted Zach Martin. And Jerry told his son, he's like, "You don't get to be Cowboys owner by being middle of the road, son. That was a middle of the road ass pick," and he was really mad and now ends up being a great pick.
Now I would be pissed if one of my kids fucked me like that.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine the talking to the wife got after that. Oh my God, no respect. He probably whooped him a little bit. Took the belt off.
All right,
gave him a couple
cut
lashings.
Me a switch. Kramer, let's go. Let's talk about this disgusting act of a Cowboys team.
All right. We went all this way. We didn't any notes on Matt Eberflus.
Oh, that's true.
That's another stellar hire. And
they were very bad at stopping the run and bringing in Eberflus. I don't know if that's going to help necessarily. I guess if you're a Cowboys fan, you're talking yourself into the idea of maybe he's a better coordinator than a head coach. But Gumby, any thoughts on Eberflus?
Yeah, I don't mind him as the defensive coordinator. He was a god awful head coach for the Bears. Like all of those games that he botched, mostly though are late with the offense though, right? Like, he got a little bit too involved in the offense in times, and I think he'd way over his skis on that. So like, I like him better on defense. The only problem I have is like, what's left of this defense for him to use though? Because like if Micah Parsons does hold out, and I don't know how serious he is or how long he'll be gone or whatever, like there's your biggest defensive weapon. There's a guy who's in the top 5 for defensive player of the year right now. And that's taking away from the fact that Diggs and Overshawn are not healthy, right? Like we might not see Overshawn for months. Diggs is talking about middle of September, late September. Like,
yeah,
those are your three biggest defensive weapons, with the exception of maybe Odigizua. So, like, even if he's a great coordinator, like who are we doing it with? Like, you still got to have guys to put on the field. And I don't think they did a good job of like going out in free agency and like, loading up their defense like they probably could have. And, he can have all the schemes in the world, but like you still have to have a pass rusher who's going to get through the offensive line.
I saw someone note they signed a bunch of former first round picks.
Great.
who their initial teams have all let go, which is like both interesting. They have a type, but also interesting. They have a type. I mean, honestly, Solomon Thomas, Javonte Williams, Elam, Kenneth Murray.
Miles Sanders, second rounder.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of we didn't even talk about George Pickens being discarded by Tomlin. That's always a. I mean, we did the research. Santonio Holmes is the only Steelers receiver who's left Tomlin and had success elsewhere. It's not a long list.
All right, let's get into the odds, Ryan. The schedule. I'm expecting some pessimism.
No, this is objective. Remember, the objective sports handicapping shows all retired this year.
That's
true. They can't hack it anymore, so we have to be objective. The number's 8.5, so we're getting a pretty big move off of last year's 10.5.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit more difficult to find our way to the under this year. I don't want to speak out of turn. They a little bit of juice to the under, -152. Wow, we're going to make it even harder to take the under potentially. Sean, make playoffs is +194. Miss is -245. Division is 5.5 to 1.
Wow.
Cowboy. How about them Cowboys? Not getting any respect. Conference is 22 to 1, and Super Bowl is 48 to 1.
I'll book the Super Bowl action. I will, and I'm considering maxing the.
Yeah, you want to do a no?
Maxing the circa credit to place a no bet on the Cowboys Super Bowl. What do you think?
Well, the problem is the credit's a little shorter than we do.
That is true.
You end up having
the credit's
to post
30 days. So
how much could we get liquid to put down on Cowboys to not win the Super Bowl?
That would be a pretty fun bet. We'll have to look up
Macro takes on the Cowboys. They have a good amount of advantage rest spots. And they have a relatively hard schedule. They're favored, Sean, only 6 times. So 8.5 win total, only favored 6 times. Let's go through it. First 4 at Philly, a game that you've been focused on for some time. The spread is 7. Will be very, very interesting to see how this one lands. Like you said, a lot of questions about health early in the season. So great time to get them. Then they play the Giants. Then they have to travel to Chicago to play the Bears. A little Matt Eberflus revenge spot. And then the Packers come to town. So from a Green Bay, obviously, Green Bay and the Giants and the Eagles obviously pose a threat with the running games, and that will be difficult against the Cowboys defense. As an objective handicapper, if I didn't mention it, that is an initial Thursday night game, so they will have a nice rest advantage against the Giants there. But they're only favored in one of these games.
Yeah.
And that's a game that is completely mispriced because that is the pricing before
Russell
the realization
Wilson
of the quarterback. Jackson Dart also starting to have a good camp.
Is there anyone having a bad camp for the Giants? Right?
I'd say the defensive tackles that are not named Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
The run defense, I'd say still I have some questions.
All right.
Yeah, if I'm being very objective, the run we're gonna have the same problem on the run defense.
Or it could just be Cam Scatterbo, greatest running back of all time.
Well, they did Elijah Chapman. If you remember the defensive tackle last year that raced down and like caught a guy after running for 80 yards, went viral, makes the team. Undersized defensive tackle. He is playing fullback this year in camp. That's exciting too. So anyway, Cowboys first 4, Sean. I'll let you actually. Let's let Gumby go first. At Philly on Thursday to open the season. We'll be watching at the Circa. Giants week 2 at Chicago, and then Green Bay at home.
So I think they probably get out of there 2-2. I like their chances of getting past the Giants there, especially as the Giants figure out their growing pains. With the new staff all over the place, and I don't know how they're priced at +3 against the Bears. Like, what about that Bears team is really scaring me from last year? I mean, I know Williams is good, and obviously he's got a whole nother year to put things together. But like, new coach, week 3, like I don't know that he's some sort of magic. Some sort of magician that is going to wave his wand over this Bears team and fix it all in 3 weeks. So I like them to get out of there with at least 2. I mean, they could surprise the Packers too, but like in the same token, equally, the Giants and the Bears could surprise them. So I think they come out of the first 4 weeks 2-2.
Kramer, what are you doing here?
I do see some tough matchups, and I'm a little. I think I made this a win for the Bears.
Okay.
Gumby makes some good points that give me some pause, but I think I'm gonna have to objectively 0-4. And talk for a second, Sean. I gotta grab some.
Okay. While Ryan's going to get something, yeah, I'm also sharing, unfortunately, some of Ryan's pessimism. I do like the Eagles a lot at home in this spot. At Chicago, it's gonna be a little tough. I'm a little more optimistic than the market, I think, on the Bears. Packers do own the Cowboys in Dallas, but Brian Daboll doesn't know how to beat the Dallas Cowboys. So I will actually say 1-3 for the Dallas Cowboys.
What? Let me put that on the calendar. Sean, remember to take.
Now I might
Cowboys.
I might take Giants in the points certainly when we come to making that pick week 2. But on the money line, I think you might have to.
Next 4, we got our first back-to-back road spot for the Cowgirls this year. At Jets, at Panthers. That is a tricky one. Now I am going to run into some problems. I forget if the Panthers must get this one. Then you have Washington coming to town. And then at Denver, I tend to want to chop up the division games, other than the Giants one, for personal reasons. 3 out of 4 on the road here, Sean.
Yeah,
Gumby.
I'm gonna give him another 2-2 in here. I mean, I think the Jets are a gimme. I think they're gonna get by the Jets without a problem. Carolina doesn't worry me all that much, but then I don't know why they're 4.5 points underdogs to Denver. I thought that one was going to be a little closer, but in the middle of having played 3 of 4 on the road, and the only home one being the Commanders or the Redskins or whatever we're calling them at this point in time. But that's a nightmare game right there. And I think the Commanders you're going to hear this from a Cowboy fan in the front of a Giants and an Eagles fan. I think the Commanders ought to be the favorites to win the division.
Oh, wow.
So hey, we can all be upset about it. But I don't expect the Cowboys to be beating them there. I think the Denver game winds up being a trap, being with all the travel. I think they take their first 2 of those and drop the second half.
Kramer, what are you doing here?
I could see them losing those 3 road games and winning the Commanders.
Okay.
Game. So I'm going to say 1-3.
1-3.
1-3.
Now I'm with you. I'm worried about this Cowboys team on the road. I'm worried about Justin Fields' ability to scramble when you're dealing with that front 7 is going to be tricky for the Dallas Cowboys. Now you have a back-to-back road spot for a new head coach. That's a very tough environment.
I quick update 0-4. I'm not actually going to take the Cowboys against that's a tough game for me to handicap this year.
Yeah. Now,
because Washington also has a very low floor for me.
Yeah, I think between the road games, maybe they get the Jets or Carolina, but I think they lose one of those road games. They lose at Denver, and I think Commanders get them as well. I'll go 1-3 here for the Dallas Cowboys, Ryan. So I got them 2-6 halfway. You got them 0-8. Gumby with a different perspective at 4-4. Kramer, what about the next quadrant?
I am starting to realize that they potentially could beat the Packers week 4, but I'll stand on my prediction. Next 4, Arizona, which Monday Night Football here again. Lots of opportunities for the Cowboys to play on to national TV this year. Week 10 they get the bye week, so kind of in the middle of the season. That's nice. Jerry getting a gift from the league. Then at Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Let's make a note. That's going to be a gross weekend to be at the Circa. There's going to be Cowboys lurking all around. We're going to be Raiders fans.
Starter jackets everywhere,
just screaming Raiders. Then the Eagles come to town, week 12, and then we have then Thanksgiving against the Chiefs at home.
Gumby, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna go 2-2 again. Look, I don't really fear Arizona. I think they're gonna get by Arizona without much of a problem. Then you get a break before you go to Vegas. As long as they don't take that break in Vegas, I think they'll probably be fine. Then you're running into the two teams in the Super Bowl. Even at home, I don't like the Cowboys against the Eagles, the Chiefs. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2 again. So give me the first 2 wins and then the next 2 losses.
Sean?
Yeah, this is a little rough patch here for Jerry and the boys.
Really?
I think
it's tough. There is some tough games
Kyler
here.
is a Texas kid. I think
big time.
Coming back, he's gonna have a bunch of locals there at Las Vegas. A lot of distractions for a rookie head coach coming off the bye. I mean, the Eagles, good luck with that game, Gumby. And then the Thursday game for a rookie head coach. The Cowboys traditionally struggle on Thanksgiving. This pains me, but I'm going to have to go 0-4 here for the Dallas Cowboys. Kramer, what do you got them going?
The Eagles always lose a game to the Cowboys, right?
I'm not going to answer that, but
I feel like maybe that's where they get one here. I'm higher than most on the Cardinals. I think the run game for the Raiders could give the Cowboys a problem. And I think also just anytime Jerry goes to the stadium in Vegas, it must make him so mad. He's like, why didn't I make my stadium black?
Why did I have a giant flame?
Black is so much better. Fuck. You know what?
He's probably confused. Wait, how does the sun come in and blind the players during the games? Wait, what? You tinted the windows? You're allowed to do that? The funniest was that he ended up. They drew the curtains for WrestleMania 2 weeks later, or a Jake Paul concert. There was some other event.
No problem.
Right? Even that stuff they fuck up, which is just so fun to root against. So Kramer, you have them going 1-3.
I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Let's actually make that 0-4.
Okay, 0-4. So Kramer has them 0-12. I'm at 2-10, and Gumby at 6-6. So really, a lot of contrarian opinions here on the 2025.
This is like
Cowboys.
when you have a buffet and you have 3 different. You have the meat option, the chicken option, and the vegetarian option. Very different options. Last 5 at Detroit. This is another Thursday night game. Both teams will be on a week rest though, because they're both coming off hosting Thanksgiving games. Then you have Minnesota at home, Chargers at home, and then you finish the season at Washington, at Giants. Giants will need this game, so they won't be resting starters at that point. I can confirm. I don't see them winning those road games. Can they? The Chargers game is the one where I wonder, will we see paid actors in the crowd at that point?
I love that meme. I'll use that one to the end of time.
Well, she was a Vikings and a Chargers fan, so she could just go to Dallas for a 2-week vacation in December and call it a day. Gumby, how are we feeling to close out the season here?
I'm gonna say 2-3 with an optimistic chance of it being 3-2. And here's how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say they beat the Chargers. I'm gonna say they beat the Giants again. Because Sean said it. Dabble doesn't know how to beat the Cowboys. So exactly. I'm gonna go 2-3 here. But I am gonna say too that there's a chance Washington's already clinched at this point and are not playing for much. I'm being honest. I think they could clinch at this point already. And there's a chance we see their starters pulled at halftime and not winning that game. I could see the Cowboys taking that one too. So there's an optimistic possibility of a third win in there. Or if JJ McCarthy is not as good as I actually think he is, because he's somebody who I've been pretty much high on all off season. I'm a Michigan fan too. There's some more 90s love for you.
We need a photo of a young Gumby, because he's he's got the Cowboys
starter jacket,
jacket, those baggy Michigan trunks. and then he's got like a
backwards Atlanta Braves hat. Yeah.
And Bulls
sweatband
shorts
or something.
Yeah. I mean, my God, that's
which is funny because you're all on those.
Do you have a hockey team?
I mean, I root for the Bruins. I'm not a big hockey fan, I'll be honest, but I am a Massachusetts guy, so I stick with the Bruins on that one.
Okay, we got one.
Through and through, just through and through. Except his love for the Bulls, the Cowboys, and the Braves. Other than that, straight Massachusetts guy. And he doesn't have the accent, which
not
is
a masshole at all.
Which is
it's a Western Mass thing. We don't get the wicked too much out here. It slips once in a while, but it's not as much of a Western Mass thing.
It's a baby fucking wheel.
Well, and which is funny because he's on the chalky sports teams, but when he's handicapping over on the MMA Gambling Podcast with our buddy Jeff Fox there as well. A lot of times Gumby's the guy giving out all the dogs, and Jeff is the chalky one. So it's interesting. His handicapping led you to dogs, but what a collection of teams. Kramer, last five. What do you have the Dallas Cowboys going?
This could be. I mean, we could be talking about interim head coach Matt Eberflus. Right?
Oh, really?
I think we could be talking about that after the embarrassment on Thanksgiving in front of Jerry's daughter's performance or whatever she puts on for the Salvation Army every year. I think perhaps we could see 5 games of Matt Eberflus coaching, and we know how that's going to go. So, I got to be honest. My model has them winning 0.4 games here, but I'm going to round that down to 0 and say 0-5.
0-5. So officially 0-17. There's a lot of fun props for that market if you're looking to get in on it. Looking at this last 5 games.
What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think they beat the Giants.
Can you believe Gumby's talking about Washington clinching, resting
2
starters?
Games out.
That's almost more disgusting than being a Cowboys fan. At this point,
I think
very unattractive.
I think Washington's prime for a little regression. Won a bunch of close games, the Hail Marys, etc. I think they get a win against the Giants. And that's about it. I do worry about can the Vikings beat them? They'll find a way. Harbaugh against Schottenheimer, that's a very easy formula. And I do think this is where Washington gets their victory gets their victory here.
Really?
And then I do have
1-5, 1-4,
1-4. So closing out Kramer 0-17. I have them 3-14. Gumby 8-9, and we're going to talk about our best.
So Gumby's under too. Just for the record. We're all under.
It was 7.5 a week ago. I'm just saying.
He's slowly moved up.
I will say, shop this. Anytime we've talked about the heavily juiced ones, you just shop it around, and you can find essentially the same price on 7.5 with the heavy juice on the over.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's a good question for you. So at a price like plus 125 to the over, right now it's 8.5 plus 125 to the over, minus 150 under, for example.
Okay.
Would you rather so if you're betting would you rather drop it down a notch?
Yeah, I feel comfortable playing under 7.5 wins
and take the plus 125.
Yes.
Or would you rather have the 8.5 at minus 150?
I mean, Ryan, we're going to get to our favorite plays here, but I think there's you know how we have the ladder that goes up? There's a shoot opportunity here on the opposite end for the Dallas Cowboys. Before we do, of course, shout out to our good buddies over at the Circa. We're just talking about the Circa. I just looked up the price for the Cowboys not to win the Super Bowl. Minus 27,000. So you have to lay a lot. So 100,000 wins you $300.
That'd be a hell of a story.
So you can either take your 100K and enter the Grandissimo or 1.5 million guaranteed, or you can bet it on the Cowboys not to win the Super Bowl. Circa Survivor, 15 million in guaranteed, although that's going to be up to like 20 million. Circa Million, 6 million guaranteed. So fun, these contests, and great time to come hang out for contest weekend, August 21st through the 23rd. Get in over there and come hang out with us. Promo code SGP 15% off the Circa, the D, or the Golden Gate. And of course, sign up with our proxy, footballcontest.com. The sign up process is very easy. It takes like 5 minutes. Schedule it ahead of time. Promo code SGP, $50 off your proxy fees. That lets you play literally from anywhere. Sign up in Vegas or Reno, and you can play anywhere in the world. New Zealand. Shout out to Making Bacon. Australia, we got it's D-Gen country. Would love to see one of those the far flung listeners come out, sign up for the contest. I'm sure Derek would be stoked to see you guys. And of course, as always, Underdog Fantasy, best ball mania all summer long. I was just thinking about some of these. We were talking about Roshan Johnson. I need some more Roshan. Tank Bigsby is lighting up camp. He's one of the guys I'm drafting a ton of over on Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania. $2 million to first place. It's great. I'm not playing any managed leagues this year. It's amazing. It's all just Best Ball Mania. Draft the team, set it, forget it. And then of the pick'em, the higher lower, super fun. We're going to be giving out some Underdog Fantasy pick'em on our Hall of Fame game preview. That's right. They do have preseason higher,
I'm a degenerate.
lower over on underdogfantasy.com and use that promo code SGPN. You get up to a $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And shout out to Degenerate Dan in the chat. Degenerate Dan is really putting in the work 2-a-days. I see him in the chat all the time. He says, I hate admitting I'm a Cowboys fan because everyone usually loses all respect for me when I tell them. He has them going 10-7 there. So,
but I was just going to also quick interrupt the show to let Gumby know he must be doing a good job in the gym because Mike wants a blood test.
Oh, okay.
I assume that's because he's looking pretty swole, not because of his Cowboys.
Not
prediction.
because of his Cowboys.
I assume, that's a muscly response.
Yeah.
What are we doing then, Sean? It's a bottomless pit. So where does the shoot go to?
So I'll put down under 8.5 wins for both of us. I also like the under 7.5 wins. Now, Ryan, I have seen some specials out there. The last winless team is a fun market we've discussed. Fewest wins is a good one. What of those are jumping out at you?
Why not just? I mean, we talked about what I don't remember if it was. I believe it was the Saints. We talked about fewest wins, but why not buy a little Cowboys fewest win insurance?
Yeah. So what Cowboys fewest wins 35-1. Definitely putting that on the card.
Shop that one around. You can find a 40-1 out.
Okay.
There.
Now does Circa have that?
I don't know if they have. They have will a team go 0-17? Probably not the best price. I'll double check though.
Cowboys fewest wins 40-1. And if you're playing the fewest wins, most wins market at Circa, do read the fine print because they don't do the dead heat, so it ends up going to these tiebreakers. And I know because
that caused some.
Well, just so you know what you're getting into ahead of time with the tiebreaker system. So Kramer, I have you down for fewest wins 40-1, under 8.5 wins. I'll also add in the under 7.5 wins. I'll also add won't win Super Bowl at minus 27,000.
Nice. So how does someone get in touch with you if they want a piece of that?
It's an investment opportunity. I think it's better than the savings account. I see DK has 0-17 at 9-1. That doesn't feel like a good price if I'm being completely transparent.
No, that's not bad. They're gonna win one.
Yes.
So Circa has.
Well, that was the 0-17 is for any team.
Oh, that's for any. Okay,
right,
okay. I was like, Jesus, that's
put me down for this, Sean. Cowboys to go 0-17 at 225-1.
Okay, Cowboys specifically.
We're gonna get a paper ticket on that.
225-1.
Well, that's what, and then they also have. They don't have. So last winless team.
Yeah,
Cowboys 30-1. I don't like that.
Okay.
And then you have they don't do fewest wins, they do most losses. Also worth noting in the case of ties or whatever. But Cowboys are now this 27-1.
But don't we want Cowboys fewest wins at 40-1 instead?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll lock that in.
I'm telling you what the Circa price is.
Gumby, do you have some favorite props, some bets? What are you doing with your Dallas Cowboys here? Now you had officially on your 8.5, the win total, you did go 8-9. So, but if you want to adjust it because of the juice or maybe like make playoffs, what are you playing here for your Cowboys?
I think we're going win total stuff. I like just exact 8 or exact 9. I think they either because like they might steal one, like I said, from the Redskins. They might steal one from the Vikings in there. Like if they wind up on the over, it's only going to be 9 anyway. So like I've seen the exact 8 at like 3.5 or 4-1. I've seen the exact 9 at like 5-1. So if you play both sides of that, you're still getting 2.5 times your profit, whether they land on either one of those. So I like either 8 or 9 wins as an option, just flirting right there with the win total. Outside of that, I mean, like, I think the best way to play the Cowboys going into the season is just the overs for Dak because he's got no run game, right? He's got no support whatsoever in terms of running back. And like even the stuff that's going to go to the running backs, it's going to go receiver. Like the running backs are going to catch more passes than they run the ball. I'm pretty certain that in terms of touchdowns, in terms of yardage, you're not going to throw Javonte Williams through the tackles and get very much at this point in time, right? Like he's not that guy. I don't have a ton of faith in Jadon Blue. I know Serial was on here and he was hyping up Miles Sanders and like, is that really all you need to know about what the Cowboys run game looks like? We got to be optimistic about Miles Sanders in 2025. So like for me, I think, Dak set at 26.5 touchdowns right now. I see pretty much across the board. I think he's over that right now. Any season in like the last, 3 or 4 that he's played more than 12 games, he's gone over 26 or 27 touchdowns. So like he's going to go over as long as he stays healthy. So like it's a bet on him staying healthy. I mean, I take the over on his rushing touchdowns too. I saw that posted on DK at 1.5. Like, if there's a problem in the run game, how much more likely are we to sneak with Dak Prescott? And, as we said earlier too, Schottenheimer likes the bootleg. Schottenheimer likes to get him out of the pocket. So we're going to get him out of the pocket down in the red zone. He's going to trot into. He got 1 last year in 8 games anyway, and now he's got a coach who's lending himself more to that. So I like the overs on both of Dak's touchdowns. Outside of that, like, I mean, I'd bet the unders on all of the running backs for the most part. Like I saw Javonte Williams was 550 rushing yards this year. Like, I don't think he's, I don't think he's going to play enough games for that to matter, right? Like he's going to play 3 or 4 of them. They're going to get fed up. Then it's going to be Miles. Then they're going to try the rookie. Then they're going to make some sort of absurd ass trade like they did last year for what was it? Mingo? Jonathan. Like they're going to go get the Jonathan Mingo of the backfield at some point in time. And then like, Turpin's going to get carries and stuff like that. So there's no way Javonte Williams ends up with more than 550. So I like the under on Javonte Williams yards. I like the over on Dak rushing and passing touchdowns. Stuff that's exciting. Maybe I wanted to get excited about comeback player of the year for Dak, but it's only like 2-1 right now or 275 or something like that.
Yeah, that is crazy low.
And like I said before on the show, like I really have a lot of faith in JJ McCarthy. I think he's going to wind up being good in Minnesota. That's a way more intriguing comeback player of the year, right? Like he obliterated his leg in preseason last year. Like he's much more likely to get that than Dak, who had like a sore hammy after 9 weeks, right?
Yeah. Also, again, we barely talked about George Pickens, but the idea that something happens in this locker room that causes
I wish there was a
explosion.
George Pickens like ripping off his helmet bet that we could
or like when Ayuk wore the wrong shorts and like threw a tantrum on the field.
I think he could go over too. I don't mean to like, obviously he's had stuff go wrong. And like you said before, nobody leaves the Steelers and Tomlin and does well as a wide receiver elsewhere. But like, as I said before, they got to throw. There's like no option but to throw. Last year, Jake Ferguson caught 0 touchdown passes. So that's all you need to know about his chemistry with Dak, right? He's not catching one. And then like, in addition to that too, like what did Tolbert have 7 last year or 8 last year? There's going to be enough touchdowns and enough passing yards to go around. I think I saw Pickens. It's like 3.5 or 4.5. Like he could catch 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I also think if you were to be I mean, again, my objective handicapping didn't get me there, but if you were going to play a division leader market for George Pickens, the touchdowns angle is how I would play. Again, I think this team could. I think Gumby's maybe correct in pointing out that the offense could put up some numbers. Also worth noting, Dak to lead the league in interceptions. You can find
what's that at?
Should we get a piece of that? We can get a paper ticket at 16-1. We can get a digital ticket at 18-1.
Yeah, I'll do a little Dak Prescott most INTs at 18-1. I also do.
You're not worried about it, like him losing, like getting benched?
No, because who do they have behind Dak that they would want to see?
I mean, maybe Dak's not having a good year.
I do like Gumby's fade of Javonte Williams under 550.5 rushing yards. I'll toss that in there. Even my hater aside, I just don't understand how this team runs the ball. And Dak Prescott, you want to give him some play action. I think that's going to be the issue, is that I just don't see how they run the ball. I'd be very surprised.
Here's the prediction. Jerry sees Joe Milton throw the ball in preseason.
Oh my God, Joe
and
Milton.
They want to see Joe Milton now. That's who they want to see.
I before the Cowboys signed him, if I was a quarterback hungry team, I would have taken a shot at Joe Milton. I didn't think he looked horrible in that Patriots game, and
he looked horrible his entire college career.
He had the same number.
That's what I'm saying. It's terrible in college.
He had the same number of wins as the starters Drake May did last year. If you want a little Patriots nugget,
yeah, he was pretty. Yeah, he was bad in college. That's the counter.
But
he can throw it really far.
Well, but that's why he's available. I'm just saying, as far as if you're desperate for a quarterback and you're looking for a project, you could do worse than Joe Milton.
Speaking of irrational confidence, we were watching and Anthony Richardson at the mic yesterday, and he was talking about how he needs to do more because he wants to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It literally sounded like a kid from kindergarten be like, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up.
Start with not letting Daniel Jones steal your job. Step one of your Hall of Fame. I mean, can you imagine? Like, does Daniel Jones introduce him at the Hall of Fame? Is that what they're planning?
It's like a buddy cop movie.
You're much closer to being out of the league than you realize, Anthony Richardson.
Dan and Ant.
DGen Dan saying Joe Milton has been looking great in training camp. So
of course he does. That's when Joe Milton looks great.
Big thanks to Gumby hopping on.
Yes.
If you haven't subscribed to the MMA Gambling Podcast, him and Jeff do a great job. Really fun hang. Even as a guy who's not diehard MMA, I'm checking in for the big fights because they do a great job chopping it up.
And the winners. And we won't talk about the last VEASAN show. And the winners.
Oh, yeah.
No, well,
God, that choke was almost in.
It was in.
That was in.
Poirier, Gummy gave us Poirier 16-1 to win by submission. And my God, he had it. he had that just for a second, almost slipped the guillotine on, but he got out, ended up losing the fight. It was a good fight though. Like, as far as if I'm going to lose money, at least I'm going to be entertained. And that was a lot of fun.
We had a shot.
Great reason, as always. Check out the MMA Gambling Podcast. Get it wherever your podcasts. Check them out. Of course, keep up with the phrase that pays. Drop that earlier on in the episode. If you hopped in live, go back and check that out. Toss us 5-star rating on Spotify, answering all the questions you want on Spotify. Feel free to send over the comments there. And Kramer, Hall of Fame game picks later on tonight if you're watching live.
Boy.
And of course, as always,
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
for Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Objectively, fuck the Cowboys.
Kramer, let it ride.
I'm wet.